What's happening, folks? Back with the reaction, back with some more Tears for Fears. And we're going straight back to Everybody Loves a Happy Ending, 2004. Once again, I enjoyed the Raoul and the Kings of Spain and Elemental before it, as well as the material on Saturnine, Marshall, and Lunatic, a great deal. Tomcat Screaming Outside felt like an extension of some of the more experimental or exploratory tunes on those works, and yet I am very excited to start going through an album which has Kurt back in the group once again. So yeah, the opening tune, again, not quite what I expected sonically. Not that I had any major sonic expectations, but it was a real smorgasbord of sonic variety. Also some great moments where you hear both of them on vocals. But yeah, the second tune is, what is it, Close to Heaven? Closest thing to heaven. So yeah, I don't know, my initial thought is that we're talking about something that is being squarely placed in the natural world, but is being compared positively to the utopian vision that people have of heaven, the idea of just absolute satisfaction, fulfillment, perhaps better. So whatever this might refer to, one can imagine it would be a very positive thing. I suppose it's the kind of phrase that could be ironic, maybe not entirely, but the idea that something which you really enjoy and which makes you feel close to heaven, it could be something that is addictive. It could be something which is problematic. Maybe it's the emotion you have for someone else, but maybe that person isn't the greatest influence on your life. I feel like it could be more problematic, or at least complicated. But yeah, on the surface it sounds like we're talking about something very, very good, but not necessarily perfect, because it's not something that's divine or supernatural. So let's find out. This is Tears for Fears. The tune is Closest Thing to Heaven, and it's from their 2004 album Everybody Loves a Happy Ending.
Again, bathwater and the baby. What am I gonna do? There's been a lot of drinking, looking at girls to you, while the world is sinking 10,000 miles into the atmosphere. My body shakes. Is there a welcome?
Say that to you. This is very Bee Gees-esque. Oh, the guitar.
Act like a generation. Give me that ball and chain. By now it must be hurting, dragging your feet again.
Always with the expressions, the those phrases.
Because I've captured you. Closest thing to heaven. Yes, you. Closest thing to heaven. Look the world right in the eye.
These moments feel very like Rolling Stone in the last decade before this. The vocals. You're allowed to do that when you're killing it vocally.
Closest thing to heaven. How do you do it?
The bluesy, the emotional guitar. You're not allowed to fade when people are doing stuff like that.
Closest thing to heaven.
A long fade though.
Closest thing to heaven.
I think the guitar was still flourishing. Really amazing. It's interesting. Like the opening tune, I was saying, oh, it kind of gave me Beatles vibes. There was a bit of funk. A moment where I said it reminded me of the more folksy end of the Bee Gees catalog. Although, another thought I had in that moment was that it almost sounds like a, folksy like guitar poets, like a Bob Dylan tune or something. And here again, it had Bee Gees vibes, but there was one or two moments where again it had that like, singer-songwriter with a guitar sitting on the hood of a car or something. Again, like Bob Dylan is the image that comes to my mind, but it really feels like they're going for some like vintage sounds, but they're really mixing it up at the same time. So amazing vocals. I mean, as much as anything, that's what really stood out with this one. I'm not quite sure what to make of the title phrase, but either way, I inevitably think of Too Much Heaven because, they're singing in these high, like, angelic falsetto, like, it just feels like, an homage, if not, or feels like they're playing to that style, if it's not an overt homage. Like, fix my brain, turn it around, and then I'll speak properly. Nevertheless, really cool tune, and one which, like I said, with the opening tune, maybe not quite what I was expecting in terms of the sonic variety, but a couple moments where it's like, okay, the sound here, this could be on one of the Roland, solo TFF albums, or indeed his Tomcat Screaming Outside. So a blend of elements, although I will say with the first two tunes, nothing that's like, oh, that's, that reminds me of the sort of vintage 80s Tears for Fears. It hasn't really had that sound. It sounds like something new. It sounds like something different. So, and indeed, I suppose if you're casting an album as an ending, or at least a later chapter after multiple earlier chapters, perhaps it is going to be something new, something different. So, all these thoughts swirling in my head as we go through this. Shout out to Philip, shout out to Kim, shout out to Michael, all the people who have shared, or at least attempted to share. Again, there were like some emails which were sent, but for whatever reason, I don't know, like maybe they got caught in my spam folder, although I looked there. Either way, by hook or by crook, we got through Tomcat Screaming Outside, and I'm very happy to now come back to the next phase of Tears for Fears, although I have indeed heard a much later phase. So yeah, bottom line, it's cool to get this larger story. Again, at some point I'm going to have, more to say about the album, so I did like a sort of impromptu album review of Tipping Point, but again, I'd like to go back through that. People mentioned that they're sympathetic to that idea, so I think, that'll be some of my first second look videos, where I go back through a tune I've already reacted to, but perhaps more knowledgeably, perhaps with more understanding of who the group is on the whole. So bottom line, shout out to Roland, shout out to Kurt, shout